Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet, and this is game number 2 of the round of 16 of the DreamHack Valencia tournament. And up the top right side of the map, it is going to be gosWser, our red Zerg player, and down the bottom right side of the map, it is going to be Harstem, our blue Protoss player. Now, these guys had a pretty awesome game last game. It was, I think it was Ultra Infesta Ling for gosWser. Very interesting combination of units, but they definitely just ruined Harstem's day. Harstem was trying to get out gateway units and mix in some void rays, and it was not a bad idea, but unfortunately the mechanics of those combinations just didn't quite work out. Basically, the void rays tried to take out the ultras, and they did a pretty good job. But in the end, the infestors with the fungal and the infested terrors just took out the void rays, and the ultras took out the zealots, and the lings took out everything else. So not all that pretty, but yeah, gosWser definitely showing that he knows how to play high level Zerg play, macro style stuff and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was a 20-minute game, 17-minute game, but he did wait quite a while to get his fourth base out though. The Protoss player had his third base out way before gosWser had his fourth base out. So that's probably the only thing which I'd like to see gosWser do, is get his fourth base out a little bit earlier. But other than that, absolutely no complaints. Really great play from him. And Harstem, yeah, I mean he has actually had like 6-7 more workers than gosWser at one point, so his macro is really awesome, but he just couldn't get the unit composition going his way. So in the end, yeah. But here we go, Harstem going for an extremely early expansion, which you definitely is a good idea on these huge maps, simply because they're huge maps. But we can actually see he's going for a forge, but he's putting it in the back in the main base, so there's no chance of losing his forge out here, which isn't really a huge concern, but I mean, each to his own. I suppose he doesn't want to have the gate busted down when the forge is half, researching something or other like that, because if your forge dies and you're halfway through like 2 weapons or something like that, then it's not just a case of, oh, I lost 200 minerals, 200 gas, or however much it costs. It's just the time it sets your upgrades back, that is just absolutely huge. So definitely not fun. Probe coming out, and a couple of lings coming out as well to do a bit of a scout. They have seen it, so they just want a closer look at what's going on. The probe comes in, he sees the hatchery just about finished, so he knows what's going on. He actually goes over and he sees the third base, so he knows that gosWser is going for some very early expansions, which it's just like this early expansion. I mean, in a map that's this huge, why the hell not? See if you can pull it off, because most of the time you will be able to hold it. And right now, in the next 2 or 3 minutes, these guys are just going to be going worker crazy, building an absolute crap ton of workers. You can see gosWser's a little bit behind, but he is going to catch up, and he is going to exceed Harstem by quite a lot in the next couple of minutes, I suspect. Couple of lings coming out here, but they're not going to really be able to do much. There's a cannon down there, and this overlord can attest to the fact that cannon is in full operational working order capacity thing. So yes, going to be really awesome, and I guess we're just going to be seeing who goes what, where and when, and how it all happens. Probably about 3 or 4 minutes from now, because now it's just going to be workers, although we may be seeing some tech buildings pop down sometime soon. We can see a pylon out in the boondocks here, so maybe that's going to be for a Stargate, maybe for like a Twilight Council or something like that, if he's going to rush DTs. But yeah, I don't know, we haven't really seen any DT rushes. It's more of a bronze level tactic, but you never know. I mean, every now and then the pros do go to bronze level tactics, just because why the hell not? We've seen TLO do his share of 6 pulls in the games we've cast, so yeah, why the hell not? And here we go, third base at the 6.5 minute mark for the Protoss player, so that is very ballsy, and I'm going to say that I don't think it's a good move, because we saw how well gosWser does with his lings. Now, does he have speed? I am actually not sure. He doesn't have speed yet, so that is the one saving grace, but all he needs to do is get speed, and this base would be completely owned. I mean, the Protoss player is either he's going to have to push out some more units to defend this third base, which is what he's trying to do now, but that might slow down his worker production a little bit. It'll help in about 3 or 4 minutes, but right now, for the next few minutes, getting all this stuff to protect it, to protect this base, I mean, he's going to be falling further and further behind on the economy, and the Zerg player is just going to be going absolutely nuts, and this is a perfect opportunity, once gosWser knows about this third base, for him to be considering a 10-minute push. Now, we just saw the Roach Warren come out. We do see link speed, so it could be a 10-minute Roach push, it could be a 10-minute Ling Bailey, it could be a combination of the two, but yeah, he will be in a great position to do that, because right now, for the next couple of minutes, Harstem is going to be a little bit exposed. He's going to try and close that exposure gap very, very quickly. You can see he's getting out a ton of gateways, but I don't know. I mean, economically, he's quite a bit behind. I guess that third base is going to try and help him out with that, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like gosWser is really pushing for that much, although maybe he is. 9 roaches coming out. That may be just for defensive purposes, because I mean, Harstem has got out quite an army, man. I'm saying he's a little bit behind, but it doesn't look like he is. He's managed to get all these forces out, and it's just completely awesome. He's behind in terms of the units by about, I don't know, 30 supply or something. So he's good right now, but with 12 roaches coming out, yeah, so it's just really awesome. Him doing this push out here, he knew there was a point where he actually had the advantage, and he's going to try and do something with it, but I don't think it's going to happen. And we are seeing this huge potential 10-minute push from gosWser, just with this massive amount of units, but somehow with a fair amount of units, but not a huge amount, Harstem has managed to put gosWser on the back foot, and I think gosWser could take him out here, but I don't think he likes this positioning too much. Maybe he can try and sidle up and take out the rocks, but yeah, I mean, this concave here, this beautiful concave with the roaches, just going to be doing all sorts of good stuff. And right now, Harstem just sitting back. He's got all the roaches pinned into this base. They can't move for fear of losing this base. And meanwhile, he's just got to start getting out a couple of immortals, even getting another robo facility, sending in a couple of hallucinated phoenix just to piss gosWser off a little bit. But gosWser's not falling for it. He moves out. He sees the Protoss army has moved back. He's got to be thinking about pushing in, but I think he's left it a bit too late. I think Harstem has gotten the chance he needed to start pushing out a couple of immortals to get a couple more units out, and now he is very confidently sitting at 3 bases, and he has a very, very decent army out, although gosWser has a massive army. I mean, massive will be decent every day of the week, and it's just these force fields which are keeping this huge roach concave from coming in here and wiping out everything. And he's probably starting to run out of force field energy a little bit, so there's going to be gaps in this wall that gosWser can try and move in, but with 2 immortals in his army doing a great job, I think he's going to be able to hold this off. A really, really great job. He's pushing in now. He's in too close for the force fields, but with 3 immortals, just absolutely annihilating all of the roaches. And gosWser is going to have to come up with plan B, because with 3 immortals and 2 more out on the map, roaches are no longer what he needs. We can see a Hydra den coming down, so he's going to be switching into Roach Hydra, and that should be pretty freaking good. He's just going to micro the Hydras to kill the immortals, and he should be fine. Another hit coming in here, maybe trying to go for the 3rd, but the immortals are going to come in. They're going to take him out. He's sniping immortals as best he can, but he's losing so many roaches. I'm not sure if it's an even trade. Probably if he loses 2 roaches for an immortal, that's probably an even trade, but maybe even 3 roaches, because I mean, these guys cost like 100 gas or something stupid like that. But I think that was pretty even. He lost a fair amount of roaches, but he sniped 2 immortals, so pretty good. And yeah, right now he's getting his 4th base up, maybe thinking about a 5th base as well. So gosWser getting the stuff going, but Harstem is not going to be falling behind. He is getting up a 4th base right now. He is very, very good on the worker numbers. 70 versus 73 from gosWser, so he should be fine. And right now he's got a great unit composition, but Hydras are coming out, and he needs to start working on his Colossus tech. Colossus tech or Storms. There we go. There's the Robo Bay. He'll start getting some Colossus out very, very soon. He's got a couple of Robo facilities. 2 of them. So yeah, he should be fine. But I don't know, man. I mean, with the Hydra starting to come out, gosWser has a small window where he can make use of the Hydras. But he's still, majority of his army is still Roaches. He's got a few Hydras out in there. Like 11 or so. So he may be able to make something work. But I don't know, he definitely could think about taking this base out if he knew about it. He's going to see some probes going up there, and that is going to tell him all he needs to know about that base. These guys are actually going to take this base out, so gosWser is slipping up a little bit there, but he's more worried about getting in here. And he's going to try and have a push. He's got a bunch of Hydras in here, and this is going to be bad because gosWser is really not, Harstem is really not set out to deal with Hydras. He's got a beautiful roach killing army. Hydras, however, are going to wreck his world, and you can see they're trying to micro down the Immortals. They got one down, and they're about to get another, but he's still holding off. Pretty much every single roach is dead. Oh, scratch that. Somehow they managed to get into the main base, killing workers, and he's going to have to back up, and it's going to take him 10 years to get through this minor gap there. There we go. Beautiful blink, and all these guys are going to get taken out, but really evening up the worker numbers. However, some constant Zealot harasses in here with the Warp Prisms. Really, really great job by Harstem there. Really killing a ton of workers. He's actually going for this Spire now. He probably should have just been killing workers, but he thought maybe he had a bit more time. But I mean, the fact is, he lost a lot of workers, but he evened it up with the Zerg player, and he got his 4th base down, while at the same time denying the Zerg 4th base. So Harstem doing a really freaking awesome job, and all he needs now is to get his Colossus numbers out, and I think he is going to be unstoppable. I mean, the Zerg player, he's trying to get he got a Spire out. He's got to be thinking about air units, maybe some Corruptors to counter the Colossus. So he's doing a great job there with his counters, but economically, man, I think he is going to be in a lot of trouble very, very soon if he does not get a 4th base. Yeah, he's potentially going to lose the game if he doesn't get a 4th base. In fact, I wouldn't even say potentially. I think he's definitely going to lose if he doesn't get a 4th base at this point. I mean, there's no way he could move in. And there we go. There's the GG. So I was about to say there's no way he could move in and take out the Protoss 4th base. So it's just going to be finished. He saw the Colossus. He's like, alright, good game. I just got nothing against that. And yeah, really, really great job. I mean, what it came down to, I think, was all those Warp Prisms coming in there, dropping in guys, constantly taking out the bases. So it's like if you're playing against a Terran player, and they're constantly dropping medevacs full of triple M forces all over the place. That's what Harstem did, except with Warp Prisms and Zealots. Killed a ton of workers. So even with this beautiful push in, with the Roaches to kill all those workers, Harstem just, I think he even took out more workers than those Roaches did, and still managed to get his tech up nice and quick, and really, really aggressive pushing of the expansions, and just keeping them alive, keeping them safe. Really, really good job. I don't know, maybe the Zerg play should have expanded to here instead of over to there, but in the end his 4th base did go down, and he did lose this game. So we've evened it up in this best of 3 series, and now we are going to be going on to a final game to see whether it's going to be Harstem or gosWser going into the quarterfinals against Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't know, I'm personally voting for Harstem simply because he's Protoss, he's from the Fnatic clan, which is Australia / UK based clan, so go Australia. And yeah, man, just Protoss all the way for me. So we will see though. We will see what happens in game number 3. This has been Hairy Muppet, and I'll catch you then.